Welsh International Partners is a volunteer organisation registered in Portugal. We have two main objectives. Firstly, since many of our members are keen to share with others their professional skills and experience as well as their hobbies, we aim to benefit local communities through organised volunteer projects. Secondly, we aim to bring together members of all the international communities in the OS region from which our membership is drawn. We're pleased to welcome you to our new project, Let's Cook. This is a light-hearted cookery series with a difference. Each week on Thursday evening at 7 p.m, a different home chef will share with you their love of cooking by showing you how to make typical dishes from their home country. We're going to introduce you to home chefs from several different countries living here in the West region. They'll present dishes typical of Chinese, Dutch, French, Portuguese and Russian cuisine, for example, but we have many more national cuisines to share with you. Every Tuesday, we'll advertise to let you know which cuisine will be presented the following Thursday. If you enjoy watching the Let's Cook presentations, you might consider making a donation to support one or more of our many projects, which include helping the day centres for the elderly and helping the homeless and disadvantaged communities in the OS region. Here are our bank details, and the name on the account is Welsh International Community Volunteers, and please put Let's Cook in the reference. If you'd be interested in making today's dishes, then here's the list of the ingredients you'd need, together with the method you should follow. So, sit back and enjoy. And now, let's cook.
Hello, and welcome to the latest edition of Let's Cook. My name is Fred, and normally I'm that side of the camera, but they've kindly allowed me to cook today. So I come from South Wales, on the west coast of the United Kingdom, and we don't have a traditional dish, so to speak. We have lava bread, we have something called barabruth, which is another type of bread. We have Welsh cakes, but we don't have a traditional meal as such. So one of my favourite foods is Asian food. So today I'm going to be cooking for you a sweet and sour chicken with egg fried rice and a little dessert later on. Okay, so let's cook. So let's start. I was going to cook outside today, but it's a little bit windy out there, so we've moved into my inside kitchen, which is quite handy, particularly when you're stir frying, because get a lot of smoke, etc., etc. It's a lot better out here. So for this dish, we're going to start by making the sauce, and we're going to use pineapple juice, sugar, white vinegar, red sauce, and cornstarch. So, first thing into the pan, we put the pineapple juice. Water, white vinegar, tomato sauce, you can use food colouring instead of tomato sauce. I prefer the tomato sauce myself, gives it a little bit of extra flavour. Sugar. There's about a cup of sugar altogether. So we're just going to give this a little, bring it to the boil. Just keep stirring because you want to dissolve the sugar. You don't want it to stick to the bottom. So you need to bring that to the boil, and we'll add the cornstarch, a little bit of water into 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Just mix this up. This is my spoon. Cornstarch will obviously thicken the sauce. The reason we make the sauce first is because when we cook the vegetables, we'll add half the sauce into the vegetables once they're cooked, and the other half of the sauce will go over the chicken. So that's just about coming to the boil. And we can set this aside until we're ready to use it. So that's coming to the boil. We're just going to add the cornstarch. And that's started to thicken up quite nicely. You can see it's starting to stick to the spoon, so that's what you're looking for really. As you bring it back to the boil, it'll thicken up more. So that's done. Okay, so moving on to the main dish. The vegetables we're going to be using are red and green peppers. This is 2 medium-sized peppers, one green, one red obviously. We have about 100 grams of mushrooms which I've chopped, not too small. And when you cut the peppers, don't cut them too small, cut them into little chunks like this. It looks much better on the plate, and they cook more evenly. We have 2 medium-sized onions. Again, they're not cut too finely, just chopped into half and then quartered. And finally we have some pineapple. So, first into the pan we put the onions and the mushrooms. Normally people like to cook their onions first and then put the ingredients in later. Personally I prefer to do both at the same time, and I don't want the onions overcooked anyway. A little drop of water, give it a bit of steam. Put the lid on them, and let that cook for about 5 minutes. And in the meantime, I'll tell you about these aprons. This is a Let's Cook apron, and it's part of the merchandise that we are trying to sell to raise funds for our organisation. All of the videos that we are making at the moment, the Let's Cook videos, are designed to try and raise funds so that we can do the work that we do. We provide meals for the elderly day centres, give them a taste of international cuisine. We cover quite a wide range area in and around Orbidus and Caldus. Recently we were involved with a soup kitchen in Caldus where we cooked meals for around 60 people I believe. that was quite a task. And obviously we can't do that without funds. So we have these aprons for sale, just €15, and if you can buy one, then you'll help us out a great deal. If you want one, just get in touch with the OIP web page, drop a line to any of the members there, and we'll get back to you. So the mushrooms and the onions are just getting just about cooked. I'm just going to add the peppers. Love the colour. And the pineapple. And I'm just going to cook these for another 5 or 6 minutes. And they'll be ready. Now in the meantime, later on this year, we have what's called the Moon Festival. It's a Chinese function to celebrate the new moon, and that's on the 21st of September. So if you're interested and you want to come to that, we do all the cooking. I'm not sure of the cost at the moment. It's around about 15, is it 15 euros? Anyway, there's dancing, and there's some lovely food, and it's well worth the money. The meal we'll be cooking is a 4-course meal, and I'm sure you'll thoroughly enjoy it. If you're interested, let us know on our webpage or email any of the committee members, and we'll send you the tickets. Okay, so the vegetables are just about cooked. I'm just going to add half the sauce that I made earlier. And the rest of the sauce will go on top of the chicken. Now the chicken is coated in batter and deep fried. It's not a crispy batter, it's a rather soft batter. It's okay. Go, and that's done. There's enough here for 4 people, maybe 5. Okay, so the next thing is to fry off our chicken. We're going to deep fry it in a wok, which I find quite handy is to use a thermometer which tells me the temperature of the oil. I don't like it to get above 170, 175. Once you get above that temperature, the batter cooks too quickly and it'll burn before the chicken's cooked. So try and keep the temperature around 170 if you can. If you can get hold of one of these, then it makes life a lot easier. You can do it with a piece of bread. Put a piece of bread into the oil. If it goes a light brown colour, then you know it's roughly around the correct temperature. But it's a lot easier if you use one of these. So we're just going to wait until it gets up to 170. Now, I put the chicken, 1 chicken breast per person. It's been cut to sort of 2 centimetre cubes, not too small. If you do it too small, it'll cook too quickly and it'll burn. So fairly nice chunks of chicken in the batter with self-raising flour, cornstarch, and 1 egg and 2.5 cups of water. And we have 2.5 cups of flour. Okay, so our oil is up to temperature, and I'm just going to put sort of half a dozen pieces in at a time. You see the butter is quite thick, and the chunks of chicken, as I say, around about 1.5 to 2 centimeters. So we just drop them in, and you need to keep an eye on the temperature. The more chicken you put in, then it's going to take the heat out and the temperature will drop, and you don't want raw chicken. So you put in about, I don't know, half dozen, 8 pieces, and let that cook for about 6 or 7 minutes maybe. So you need to move it around a bit, stop the pieces sticking together. And if anybody from Wales is watching this, I'm sorry I didn't cook anything Welsh, but let's be honest, we haven't got anything really interesting to cooking things. I know I'm going to get loads of comments saying that, but anyway, this is far more interesting and far more tasty. Now this batter won't go crispy, it will stay soft. Keep an eye on your temperature, make sure it doesn't go up too high or it doesn't go down too low. Try and maintain it around the 170 mark. Also, if you cut the chicken into larger pieces, it's going to take longer to cook. So try not to make them too big and not too small. Okay, I think we can take these out. Keep them to one side. Just drain them off on some paper. And in the next batch. So the temperature is back up. As the first batch is finished cooking, then the temperature will start to go back up. Okay, so while the last of our chicken is cooking, we're just going to do some egg fried rice. I've got some long grain rice that I cooked earlier. Just enough for 3 people really. Okay, so egg fried rice. Believe it or not, the cameraman today is my good friend Joseph, who is Chinese, and I'm sure he's thinking I'm probably making a right ash of this. So anyway, this is my method of doing egg fried rice. It's not everybody's method, and it's probably not the correct method. So this is the way I like to do it. We put the egg in first, scramble it up a bit. Can you see that? Okay, that's just about ready. Go in with our rice. Now if your rice has been standing and it's got a little bit sticky, just add a little drop of water, make some steam, and The rice will loosen up. Not too much. Just a handful of peas. Add some colour. Just keep turning so it doesn't burn. Then we add some dark soy sauce to this, just a little. You don't want it too dark. This is a premium dark soy sauce. It's very strong. Doesn't contain salt. Just a little bit. That's all you need. And you see the colour change. Gorgeous smell that comes out. And that's my egg fried rice. There you go. That's done. Okay, so our chicken's completed. I'm going to put the chicken on top of the vegetables. Put the rest of the sauce on the top. And just to finish it off, we have some chives sprinkled over the top. Now I didn't put any salt into the rice. There's enough salt in the batter of the chicken. The chicken was seasoned with sugar and salt before I put it into the batter. And that's that dish finished. And here we have sweet and sour chicken. Okay, for our dessert, we're moving from China to Brazil. And we're going to make some doughnuts. Now these are drop doughnuts. And the Portuguese name is Bolinhos de Chuva. And I'm sure all you Portuguese people out there are fairly familiar with these. They're easy to make, children love them. You can coat them in chocolate, you can fill them with cream, you can fill them with jam, fill them with custard. Today I'm just going to be making plain ones. So let's start. So first of all we have a cup of sugar in here. I'm just going to add some cinnamon, and these are to coat the doughnuts after they've been fried. You coat them when they're hot so the sugar sticks to the doughnut. That's about a tablespoon of cinnamon into 1 cup of sugar. You're just going to give that a mix up. Gorgeous smell, I love the smell of cinnamon. Cool, that's ready. So we want 1 cup of milk. I'm not going to measure because I know roughly how much a cup of milk is. And you put in 2 eggs. Mix that up. I'm adding 2 cups of flour. You can use plain flour, you can use self-raising flour. Probably self-raising is probably the better flour. I like to add a little bit at a time so I can see the consistency. And this is a fairly thick batter, so when it's on the spoon, it should stay on the spoon, it shouldn't drip off. So 1.5 cups. Just feel that coming together. Still a bit thin. Put in another 1/2 cup of flour. You don't really need to measure too accurately. More I feel the texture of the batter more than anything else. And 1 tablespoon of baking powder. It's better if you leave this batter to settle for about 10 or 15 minutes and let the baking powder do its magic, and it forms some nice holes in the batter and gets nicely aerated. So we're just going to leave this rest for a while, and I'll warm the oil up ready, and then we start to cook. Okay, so our batter has rested for about 10 minutes and it's starting to bubble up. Consistency is sort of just about falling off the spoon. So, once again, I'm using my digital thermometer to monitor the temperature of the oil. I don't want it to get too hot for these, because they cook quite quickly and the temperature doesn't go down too much. So we just take a spoonful, scoop it off with another spoon, and just about 1/2 spoonful, and you can see they immediately start to swell up. Get the temperature up to about 170. Don't let it go any higher than that. You only take about 3 minutes possibly. see it's easy dessert to make. You can serve it with ice cream, you can serve them on their own, you can serve them with pineapple fritters. Put a pineapple fritter in the middle, doughnuts on the top, very nice. And I just like them on their own. You try and keep turning them, and as they puff up, they tend to turn over to one side. The side that's in the oil swells up more than the part that's on the top, and then they tend not to turn over. So you can push them down into the oil. Turn the temperature down a little bit. So there you are. They're cooked. We put these into the sugar and cinnamon. If you want to fill them with anything, jam or custard or whatever, you can make them a little bit bigger. So if you get one of the syringes, the large syringes with a nozzle on, you can inject the doughnut with the filling. Okay, so we're just coming to the last of our Bolinhos de Chuva, or drop doughnuts. Normally the recipe calls for a buttermilk to make the dough, the batter. If you can't get buttermilk, you can always mix ordinary milk with the juice of half a lemon and leave it for about 20 minutes, half an hour, and the lemon will start to turn the milk a little, and you end up with basically buttermilk. But plain milk is fine. Full fat milk is better. Basically that's it, basically. Well, we've just about come to the end of this edition of Let's Cook. We've come to the end of the series for this year. If you're interested in joining us next year for the next season of Let's Cook, please let us know. We're looking for cooks from all over the world, whether it be the USA, Canada, Australia, Russia, Poland, Greece, Africa, wherever. China. I like Chinese food, obviously. And thank you for watching this edition of Let's Cook. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you try the recipes, and I've enjoyed cooking for you. Thank you very much.